Yo, what's up everybody? Jumping here, and I am proud to bring you the Awakened Collector Adept. Alright, to start this guy off, I'm going to be using the Talon. I'm only using this gun honestly because I want to use a pistol, and in my opinion the Talon is probably the best pistol as of now, primarily because the Alkalite is charge up again. And the only reason I want to use the pistol is because I want to use Power Magnifier. This increases power damage by 30%. This really helps this guy out because Dark Spear does so much damage. The only problem with this is that if you're going to do this, I would highly recommend using armor piercing ammo. If not, you would have to take the extended off and put like piercing on. So keep that in mind. The weapon is actually really up to you, but I would recommend any type of weapon that can give you some decent power recharge speed, because this guy's powers are extremely long, so you have to always keep that in mind. Alright, let's go ahead and get into the build. Now, Dark Spear, this is kind of complicated. The main reason is because the gameplay I'm about to show you is my second time ever playing with him. I recorded the second game I played with him, and I really liked that gameplay, so that's the one I decided to use. The build is totally different, to be quite honest. It's similar, but the Dark Spear is a lot different than that. For the gameplay I'm about to show you, the build I had was detonation radius, recharge speed, and then I had dark matter. And it worked out pretty well for me, but after testing it a little bit, I also like this, which is like a damage over time kind of build, where I go for damage over time, and then unstable Dark Spear. That increases the radius to 7 meters. The problem with this is that the radius is only 4.5 with the build in the video, where with this it's 7 meters. Now the only thing I would maybe also recommend to try is to go for the damage and then go for recharge speed and then go for unstable. The damage over time is good, but from what I've noticed, it doesn't seem like it does like what it says it does. 775 damage for 9 seconds is a shit ton, but it doesn't really feel like the enemies are like really taking that amount of damage, at least to me. So, I don't know, recharge speed can definitely help you out because it has a ridiculous recharge speed. So keep that in mind. Alright, now for Seeker Swarm, I go for recharge speed. This thing has another really high recharge. But this is good because you can detonate your own explosions. So, all you have to do is throw out your Dark Spear, and then you can start shooting off these and getting explosions, and then you can detonate your spear and kill everything. It's pretty awesome. I go for the damage reduction. Although I use this power and I shoot it off, I still like the damage reduction, just because this guy is definitely a little flimsy, so this really will help you. And I go for the swarm count. The swarm count is good. You get 4 of them. You can shoot 4 of them. Awesome. Now all this stuff over here, like the damage and the the slow effect is just not that long. The duration is just like, when you compare it to something like Dark Channel has like 30 seconds of a slow duration. That's amazing. Where this only gets up to like, I think 8 or something. It's not really high. Now, I skipped Dark Channel for this build, but I would also say that Dark Channel is a really good power. I just personally don't like Dark Channel. I don't know why. It's just me. But if you love Dark Channel, yeah, you can incorporate it into a build. You could also just skip Seeker Swarm if you want and go for a Dark Channel. Problem with that is that with a build like that, you won't be able to detonate your own explosions, but you would be able to set up multiple explosions very quickly. So if you're playing with like teammates who can detonate for you, you'll be getting a ton of explosions. And this also will increase your damage over time if you want it to do that. Now for this right here, for his ancient thing, I go for damage and capacity, power damage and power damage. I mean, to me, this guy's all about just blowing everything up, doing a lot of damage over time. That's just how it goes. Now for his fitness, I just go for all shields. He has this whole like ascension mode, but when you go into that mode, you take more damage. So that to me, he's already kind of squishy, so that to me just isn't really worth it. Maybe once in a while I go into it, but I don't know. I just don't think the bonuses are worth the risk of just getting dropped every 5 seconds. Alright, now for the equipment I'm going to be using in this video, it's going to be Armor Piercing 4, Pistol Rare Lamp 2, Stronghold Package 5, and Power Efficiency. Now you could also use Power Amp. That is amazing, but I'm going for a more spam kind of thing for this video compared to like a bigger boom. So think of it like that. Alright, let's go ahead and get into the gameplay. Alright guys, this is going to be the gameplay. It's going to be on Glacier, and it's going to be against Reapers. Now I decided to choose Glacier just because Dark Spear, well, it's definitely the best on this map. And you can get the most bang for your buck, and I think it's the best demonstration of the power. Alright, so like I said, you gotta remember my build is a little different in this, but the premise is about the same. The main thing I like to do when I use this guy is throw out my Dark Spear, hit a ginormous group of them, maybe shoot a Seeker Swarm into them to get an explosion. Now one thing about the explosions though, they do feel rather weak because there's no like bonus damage that you can get. Most powers that detonate give some type of bonus detonation damage, and honestly I guess that just really makes the explosions a lot stronger. Where with this guy, it just feels like my explosions are rather weak when I detonate my own. But it's still good, because a lot of times I'll hit them, and then I'll blow them up, and then once I detonate that spear, whew, everything dies. Now, in this video, I'm only going to have 4.5 meter radius. So a lot of times I'll shoot out the spear, and because the radius isn't as big, I won't get as many kills out of it as I should. Where if you try the other version, you'll have 7 meter radius. Now one thing I will say about that real quick though, is that I don't know what it is. It might just be something about like maybe it doesn't hit things behind walls or something. But a lot of times like I'll detonate it like kind of next to the enemy, and even with 7 meter radius I won't hit them, and I don't know what that's about. It's a little tricky. Now if you can't tell, we're actually using a like adept team, which is good because I think this guy is really good for that. Besides the fact that Dark Spear can set up explosions for you, you can detonate other people's explosions for them by just simply shooting out the Seeker Swarm. So this guy can detonate like 4 explosions rather quickly for your teammates if you wanted to do that. Pretty wicked. Now, Dark Spear, I personally think, is probably his best power he gets. I'm not a big fan of Dark Channel, I never have been, I don't know why. It's just really me. But if you like Dark Channel, go for it. I mean, I never used it on the Fury, and what else? I've never used it on, well, I used it on the Infiltrator, the Asari Infiltrator, but I still never really, I don't really like her much, and I think one of the biggest problems with her, or the reason why I don't like her, is because I don't really like Dark Channel. I don't know, I'm more of a Reeve kind of person. I know the two powers are like pretty much totally different, but when I use it, I think of it too much like Reeve, and I just like Reeve a lot better personally. So maybe that's what it is. I couldn't really tell you. But yeah, I hope you could tell though, this Dark Spear power is pretty awesome. As long as you can like aim it right and time it right, you can pick up tons of kills. So I mean, and on top of it, like I said, just the fact that you can get these explosions, oh my god, it's a lot of fun, guys. He's definitely a really cool character. Now Dark Spear, one of the best ways to think about the power in general is that, well, it's a recon mine. That's really all it is. It's a biotic recon mine. I mean, it does a massive amount of damage just like recon mine, and it has a pretty ginormous radius just like recon mine. And you have to, and the mechanics of it also works a lot like recon mine. So it's pretty cool. I really like it. One thing about this guy though, I really wish they would have put flare on him somehow. I don't know what they could have replaced. Maybe Seeker Swarm, maybe Dark Channel, but I would say Seeker Swarm would be the one that would be better, because it would be kind of ridiculous if this guy had 3 powers with like insane recharge speed. Like that would be kind of insane, but I really do think that flare would be an amazing power to have on this guy. It'd be a lot of fun. You know, one minor issue I've noticed with this guy is that sometimes if you actually pull off an explosion, you'll knock enemies away from your spear, and if you do that, then of course the spear might not kill them. So that is something, it's a very minor issue. I've just noticed it. It's not really a big deal. Now, I really highly recommend to try to have a decent power recharge speed with this guy. So your weapon choice is really going to be based off that. You can choose any weapon you want. I like the Talon. I think the Talon is one of the best overall guns for weight and damage and all that. It's a very good gun. But you can use things like SMGs. Anything light is fine. SMGs though, they do have recoil. Most of them do. So you might need to use stability. But they also get the power magnifier, which can really help this guy out big time. Collector weapons and the particle rifle, they get bonus damage, so that's pretty cool. So the weapon is really just up to you. You could choose anything you want. Now in this video, I'm actually going to be using power and efficiency. I would recommend power efficiency if you want to use that, but power amp is also really good. You have to consider two things. Do you want to spam? Well, believe me, there's no spamming with this guy because his powers are so short. But do you want to be able to use Dark Spear like faster and more, or do you want to just make it that much more stronger? You gotta remember, power amp 4 increases your power damage by 50%. So that's insane for Dark Spear. I actually wish I would have used power amp in this video compared to power efficiency, but either way, it's whatever. And remember about the different types of builds. It's really up to you. At the end of the day, though, I think that when I redo this guy for then, whenever next time, if I reset him or if I promote him, I think I'll keep the original one I showed, the one with the damage over time. But if I was to change anything on that, it would definitely be, maybe I would go for the recharge speed. It doesn't really increase your recharge speed all that much, to be quite honest. It's probably like 0.6 of a second if you have 200%. But 0.6 of a second can definitely make or break this guy sometimes. It really just depends. Like in this video, I'm really noticing that with the power efficiency and with the recharge speed, I'm able to use his power a lot more. So, I don't know. That's just something that I like. It's up to you the way you really want to do it. Now, there was something that's really important in this video I should probably talk about, which was there has been some multiplayer changes today. Today is March 12th, 2013, and I've been waiting a long time for, well, at least I've been waiting since this DLC come out. It takes every 2 weeks now they change the game with the multiplayer changes. It used to be every week. So now when you want something done, you have to wait, well, you have to wait 2 weeks for it. So, a lot of you guys have been commenting and asking about this whole Talon mercenary, and I've said this now a couple times, but I will tell you why I haven't done them yet. That is because I've been waiting for the multiplayer change. I wanted to see what they were going to do to them, because something had to be done. And I'm pretty excited over this multiplayer change. I think that they've come up with some pretty good stuff. Now, I'm not going to look at a list here. I'm just going to tell you I've looked over it, and there was a couple things that really caught my eye. Some of the stuff is like whatever, like almost all the new weapons, not all of them, but almost all of them, or several of them, actually got like damage increase, and they needed it. One of the ones was the Venom shotgun. The main thing about that is that they increased the charge shot of that from 10% to 25%. And I talked about that in that video, that I wish that the charge shot did a little bit more damage. And, well, they did exactly that. They made it so it does more damage now, which is great for the Venom shotgun. The Punisher, I believe, got a damage increase. The Spitfire got a damage increase. A lot of, several of the guns got a damage increase, which was definitely something that they needed for sure. One thing I really wish they would do is I wish they would make the Executioner pistol get bonus damage to shields like the Talon, because then that pistol would be amazing. Right now, the problem with the Executioner pistol, in my opinion, is that the Talon's better. Now, I know the Executioner pistol is a gold, and the Talon is a blacklisted, or in 7, ultra rare, but I still think that the Executioner pistol should be somewhat similar, like more powerful, be a little bit like the Talon, or a cross between the Talon and the Claymore. As of right now, the Executioner pistol is neither. It's not really a Claymore because it's not a shotgun. It doesn't get the bonus damage up close. All shotguns get like a 150% bonus damage at close range. Or maybe it's 200%. I can't remember. But they do get a big time bonus damage at point blank range, where the Executioner pistol does not. It also doesn't get the bonus damage to shields like the Talon does, so the Talon kind of walks away being better, and you get 4 shots in the Talon, where with the Executioner pistol you only get 1. So I wish they would do something with the Executioner pistol. They did not, which I'm a little disappointed about, but there was a lot done. Alright, so the first main thing I wanted to bring up is that, guess what guys, they have made it so that all the combination weapons, the Crusader, the Eagle, all of them, are now ultra rares, or at least you can get them as ultra rares. I don't know what that means. Probably they're still going to have like the little weekends, the challenge weekends. I don't know if you're going to get those weapons anymore. You might not. But at least now we can actually max them out through just the regular ultra rare chance of getting blacklisted stuff, which is pretty awesome if you ask me. So that is something that is pretty major that has happened. Now there was a couple major changes that have occurred. The main one being that they have nerfed the Alliance Infiltration unit, buffed the Talon mercenary, and slightly actually changed the collector here. Now I might have already talked about this a little bit, and I might have been wrong because I didn't look at this list before I did the whole build commentary. But with Ascension mode now, you can actually, I think it's only 25% damage extra that you can take. So because of that, I would say Ascension mode would be maybe worth it. The main problem that I have with it though is the fact that you have to like stop moving, stand still when you use it. And that's also a problem I have with Seeker Swarm. With Seeker Swarm it's like that as well, where you have to stand still for like a second and cast it. So to me, like, that seems like that would leave me a little bit vulnerable when I do that, and I don't really like that whole idea. But I would say if you have the damage protection, you could totally use Ascension mode now, and you would still walk away with 15%, I think, bonus damage protection. So that's pretty awesome. Now, for the Alliance Infiltration unit, that is something that I think almost everyone's seen. They knew it was coming, that thing was going to get a little nerfed. The main issue that most people actually had with that Infiltration unit was, well, the repair matrix. Some people thought that thing was too overpowered. Now, don't ask me why people sit there and they complain about something. I don't know. I have no idea who are these people who are complaining about it. I would personally say I don't think it's like the newbier players or the not as skilled players, because why would they care? Why would like the players who aren't really good at the game care about things getting nerfed? That just makes no sense to me, and a lot of people try to say it's the noobs that do this. No. I would imagine that the bad players would love, you know, infinite meta gels and things like that. And you know what I mean? That's the way I feel about it. I just think that it just makes no sense why those players would want things like this to happen. Why would they not like to be carried in a game? I personally think the people who are responsible for these nerfs are the above average players. The ones who take the game way too seriously. They compete against other players. Like this game is a competitive game or something. So, I just don't get it. I think it's dumb, but hey, that's my opinion. Anyway, but they have changed it, so let's go ahead and talk about it. What have they done? The main thing is they have decreased the duration of it big time. They've decreased the damage reduction that you get on it. They didn't touch, I don't think, the movement speed, so that's not an issue. And they also decreased the amount of shield regen that you get. I think that if they wanted to make a pretty balanced nerf to it, they should have. The only thing they should have really touched, I think, on it would have been the duration of it, and I think that they should have made it so that if you get up from Repair Matrix, you get up with 1 bar of health, not full health. I think that's the one thing that makes that so amazing. The fact that you can get full health anytime in a game of platinum or gold or whatever, you can constantly get back up with full health. So I think if they would have just changed that, maybe made it so that you get up with just 1 bar of health, I think it would have been balanced, but whatever. So that's pretty much the nerf. Like I said, damage protection got decreased, the amount of shield regen got decreased, and the duration of the power got decreased. Honestly, guys, I don't really think it's a big deal. I really don't think that all the nerfs on it is going to make it like worthless or anything like that. It's still going to be really good. I mean, it's like infinite metagels or grenade metagels. That's the way you can think of it. It's still going to, like, that's still going to work. So they're not going to like just get rid of the power somehow magically. It ain't going to happen. Alright, so anything else with her? I know her melee damage got decreased as well. I think that was about it, though. I might be missing some stuff here. You guys can comment if you want. Like I said, I'm not looking at the list. I'm just trying to remember exactly what I read. Now, there was a lot of changes to the Talon mercenary, a lot of buffs. It was insane. So I will only really talk about the ones that I noticed. The biggest thing that they did, which is like the best thing, they made it so that when you use his omnibow, it only takes 0.35 seconds to fire. It used to take 3 seconds to charge up and fire. So now, what does that mean? That means that his omnibow fires almost instantly, which is fantastic. Because for one, I think that that probably will fix that glitch off host. If you guys don't know, he had a really terrible glitch where if he uses omnibow, sometimes you would get stuck in this animation if you were off host for like 10 seconds and you couldn't do anything. You couldn't take cover. Well, you just couldn't do anything. So 10 seconds of you just being totally vulnerable and probably dying. It was pretty bad, honestly. So I think that with the whole instant shooting omnibow now, I think that that might fix that glitch, and that would be fantastic if that's the case. So I'm really excited about that, and I cannot wait to use him now for the video, because I think that he'll be a lot better, and I'll be actually able to use his bow and show it off better now. So keep that in mind. Another thing they have done to him is that they made it so that they increased the base amount of arrows you can shoot from 3 to 5. So that means that if you go for the evolution, you could shoot 6. So the amount of DPS you can do from those arrows now is insane. They've also changed the charge time as well. Where his charge time, that's how fast he regenerates grenades / the arrows. I think that was a pretty major buff too. Like, they've decreased it from like 90 seconds originally to 60 seconds. So that is amazing. That is also based off of your weight, if you guys didn't know. Because weight on him does not matter. When you think about it, he uses nothing but grenades, almost like a demolisher. But if you want the rechargeable grenades to come back faster, then you want you want like 200%, because it will go down dramatically. And that is an amazing buff that they've changed that now. Also, they switched a little bit into his, I think his evolution, his passives. Like, his passives got pretty big time buff. And I think the most important one that got buffed out of that was, I think, the last evolution. Now, if you go for it, it gives you like a total, it increases from like 50% to 100%, something like that. I know it went up to 100%, like regeneration rate bonus, so that's amazing. Overall, like I said, I think that they've done a pretty good job with him. With the amount of damage that's been increased, and his passives, his regenerating grenades, the fact that he can fire his bow now really fast, I think that he'll be a lot better. I just wish that one thing they would have done with him is increase his fitness, increase his base health and shields, because he is pretty freaking flimsy, and that will still be somewhat of an issue, but whatever. It's not really that big of a deal. Like, this guy also is a little flimsy. The main problem with the Talon mercenary, I feel, is that out of all the new people, almost every single one of them, actually every one of them but him, gets some form of damage reduction. This guy has the Secret Swarms, the Juggernaut has the Surge Pulse, Biotic Focus for the Cabal, the Alliance Infiltration Unit gets the Repair Matrix. I think that's all of them. So every one of them had damage protection but the Talon mercenary, so that's a damn shame. Alright guys, so this is going to be the extraction wave. I'm sorry I talked so much about the balance changes, but I think that they're very important for some of you guys to know. Overall though, like, there really wasn't much to say, I don't think, about this guy. He's pretty awesome. He has a really long recharge speed, which is whatever. He can do his own explosions, which are kind of weak, but still pretty good. Secret Swarm, I like it a lot. Spear, I love. I think Spear is amazing. You can try any version of the build you want. I gave you like 3 that I like, but like I said, my final build I think for him is going to be like the original one I showed with the damage over time, but the main difference between that would be that I would probably go for recharge speed for his like second evolution instead of more damage over time. That's the only real difference. Everything else would probably stay the same. I think that this guy is really good. You can also try out Ascension mode now because they have changed it a little bit, made it so you won't take as much damage. But yeah, I mean, I think he's fun. He can fly too, that's always cool. and we finally got some form of like Prothean. That's something that people have been requesting for a long time. So they were able to, I think the way they pulled it off was a good idea. They were able to bring out something that people wanted for a really long time, but not fuck with the lore too much. I mean, collectors are kind of like whatever, but if they can't bring, I mean, Javik's the last of the Protheans, so they can't bring out another one because that just makes no sense, right? It fucks up the lore. Anyway, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this. Please give me a like, please give me a favorite, and you guys have a very nice day. Peace out.